Morning. Gonna start day one of. I was serious. Get out a paper and pen. Of writing the second edition of The Art of War. And there's a reason why. You know, the battlefield, as I've said many times, the battlefield has changed, and we need to change our strategy and tactics accordingly. Not to mention, I like The Art of War. I'm not saying it wasn't good, but it had its flaws. It had its misses, if you will. It is what it is. That's good. I not that I don't recommend reading it. Absolutely. But the times have changed. So I'm going to tell you the first rule, which is actually the most important rule of the second edition of The Art of War. But we're going to have a little story time first. Right? We're going to talk about my mother. So most people are probably, accustomed to parents that love their kids and defend their kids and support their kids and all that. Well, that wasn't the case for me. I mean, I'm not the golden child. If I were the golden child, hell, it wouldn't matter what I did. He goes and takes a crap and it's golden. Believe me, it's that bad in my family. It really, truly is. I called my mother up, and I didn't intend to tell this part. I would have saved it for a whole nother time, but seems like it fits. Called my mother up when I got done soloing. As far as an ultralight, right? My first solo, the first time that I completely, all by my own-some, flew an aircraft and was getting recognized for it. I don't know. I think that's a fair achievement, right? I mean, yeah, it's an ultralight. I wasn't, a commercial pilot of American Airlines or nothing, but it's something. And I actually called her up from the airfield. I remembered I was standing right on the airfield. I called her up. I was all excited, and I didn't really expect her to really receive it. But I thought it would have been received. Hell, I don't even know if she believed me. In fact, the more, I thought about it, I don't think she believed me. I think she thought I was lying. I believe she thought I was lying. I wasn't. Which brings me to what I'm wanting to talk about, the actual story that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, by the way, there was something real minuscule that my brother David did, and so when I'm on the phone talking to my mom about how I just soloed an aircraft for the first time, all she can do is talk about this minuscule thing that David did. I mean, right. She'll brag all day long. He don't have an enemy. Well, yeah, that's because he's a weak-ass kiss-ass that never stood for anything honest in his frickin' life. I guess you will have a bunch of friends that way if you kiss everybody's ass. I don't trust people that don't have enemies. You kidding me? That should be a huge red flag. Anyway, my mom, and most parents probably are a little more apt to defend their children. My mom, I can recall one time that she defended me. And it was over a relationship, and her name was Audrey. Probably the only decent pick I ever had, to be honest. Her parents couldn't stand me at all. Well, no parents ever did. And I can halfway understand that Okay? I mean, I have to take credit for some of that, if you will. Long hair, earrings, you know. I was shocked though the day that there was a disagreement and my mom chased her out of the house. Only time ever my mom did anything like that for me. It actually confused me for some time, and I thought on it, trying to figure out why in the hell was this one time different than any other? Why was it important for her to get Audrey away from me? Let me tell you why. My mom knew that a lot of my other choices were nothing but trash. Or, I can go down the list. Trash, trash, trash. I've got the worst taste and common sense when it comes to that, I'm telling you. And this was the one that was different. Right? She was self-respecting. She was self-motivated. She wanted to actually do something with her life. She didn't want to sit there and talk about how she wanted to do stuff. She wanted to do it. She wanted to grab life by the balls and own it. And that's what I saw in her. And she was like just massively, incredibly intelligent in her ways. Yeah, I still think the world to this day. Incredible human being. Her family, not so much. But anyway, it's the only time. And it dawned on me, that's why. That's why. She was the only one that my mom felt threat from. Because she was actually worth something. She was actually a decent person. My mom couldn't have that. Mom can't have me around decent people, around good people, because then I might figure out the truth about her. See how this works? So yeah, and you know, there was one instance that I can recall. It's always been this way, and it doesn't matter. Relationship after relationship, I was the bad guy. I did all wrong. It didn't matter what really happened. In my mom's eyes, I was always the offender. No matter what, I was always the one that did wrong. Had to be me. And I swear to God, the Father, that a majority of the times, it was not me. Like I said last night, I don't want to argue. I don't want to fight. I will just keep walking away. I'm not going to do it. And that pisses some people off to no end. Apparently it pisses a lot of people off to no end. I don't care. It takes two people to argue, and I have just as much right to make that decision whether I want to argue or not. And just because I choose not doesn't make me a bad person. I choose to spend my time productive and not destructive. Or I try. That's what I want to do. Dated a woman named Becky. Yeah. Woman loosely. I mean, female persuasion, but surely wasn't a woman. Big ass lying fake you could imagine. Should have saw the medical condition she would fake. Seizures and all of that. I'm not kidding. Not kidding. And you'd think my mom would be smart enough, and she probably was smart enough to pick up on this stuff, but it doesn't matter. I was a bad guy. So we were having a breakup, me and this Becky, and Becky accused me of constantly trying to call her, constantly trying to contact her. I was constantly calling her. right? My mom believed it lock, stock, and barrel. Her boyfriend at the time, her now husband, scumbag, he believed it lock, stock, and barrel. Yeah, I've got a right to call you scumbag, Dave. Give him my face again. Buddy. Try it again. It was mind-blowing how much of their story, lock, stock, and barrel, was bought. But you know that back then, that was before, as much with the there were cell phones and stuff, but it wasn't like today. We're talking flip phones, that kind of stuff back then, pre-2000. And, so, the phone calls that were being talked about were done from a landline. So all I got to do is wait for the bill to come. What happened when that bill come? What did my mom find out? Mom, what did you find out? Would you tell the world what you found out when you got that phone bill? Who was it again? Remind me. Who was calling who? One more time. Remind me, Mother. Who was calling who? But see, that is just one of the handful of times that I actually had that kind of hard evidence in front of me to say, right here. And she just washed that right under the rug. Nah, must have been a fluke that he told the truth. Ever wonder why I kind of have the attitude I do? Ever wonder why I don't have that same need for others that people do? Why I can come on here and I can absolutely unapologetically tell you the truth on this show? And it doesn't matter if I know I'm going to offend people or piss people off. I'm not here to make friends. I'm not here to find a girlfriend. I'm not here to please people. The Father sent me here to bring you news and information. What I'm here for. There's probably a reason he picked me for this. Maybe it could be for those very things. I don't have to choose sides, that I don't have to... Maybe it's because of that. Maybe it's because I can step back without just emotionally thinking about everything, and I can step back and logically look at it and pull it apart layer by layer. No. Somebody like me must be an angry monster. Yeah. So let's get to this lesson, shall we? It's actually the most important lesson I can tell you. And while it's not like your last resort, because it technically should be your first resort, it is the last thing in the list. And people are going to think I'm odd. People are going to think I'm funny. And many people are going to think I'm a joke when I say this. Step 1. In the second edition of The Art of War. Repent. See, as you know, this battlefield is way different than any battlefield we've ever been on. In this civilization, that is. This is a spiritual battle. This is an information battle. This is a media battle. There's a lot of battles that this is right now. But what this isn't, for the most part, is a conventional battle. Okay? And The Art of War, in a sense, was written for more conventional types of battles. Well, the battlefield has changed, time has changed, And they've actually readapted some of that art of war techniques in with modern times to be able to use on us. It's there, it's obvious. But here's the thing, and this is the nuke, and this is why this is the last, I don't want to say it's the last resort. It's the thing that you need to work on first. But God forbid it be the last option on the table. I mean, it is the last option on the table. Hope you never have to get there, because that just sucks. I know, because I'm probably going to be in that category. So repent. I know. This is dumb. This is going to be a Bible class. No, it's not. Not going to be a Bible class. But it's important to repent. Let me explain why. Because you have to understand that no matter what, the Father and His plan is always bigger than you. Period. It's bigger than you. And you can't control what others do, but you can control what you do. And if you repent, and that person has never made you whole in however long it was since they trespassed against you, they've never made you whole and they've never repented, and you repent, you do know that the Father's going to address that, right? Like all these people, that's my ace in a hole. I'm telling you that right now. Because all of the people that I've talked about, and all the people that I will talk about, I don't think they're strong enough. I don't think they got it in them to repent. I think that their selves and their lies are more important than their God. Well, what they claim is their God. I think that's more important to them. So just by doing that alone, nobody else has to take any kind of action at all. Just by me repenting alone, I've already fixed the game, have I not? What matters most in all this should be your service to Him. Keep that focus. Repent where you need to repent. Do your best to do the right thing. Live your life. And let the Father work. Because He will work. Might sound silly. But that's the first thing that you need to get set up. First thing you need to get through your mind. Because this is... we're talking about winning the war. You always have to set up for a worst case scenario. And really, it's not even a worst case scenario. It's just, I understand. For many people, it would be nice if, I don't know, some of their life could be given back to them before they die. But I don't see that happening in this world. Too much ego, too much pride, too many lies to keep up. Anyway, thanks for coming along for my little Chatty Do story time and lesson 1 of the 2nd edition of The Art of War. Talk to you soon. Shalom.